Alright, here's a video review for Mastermind Creations R-15 JAEGERTRON, aka their version of Lockdown. This is his larger convoy mode. You can see with the container attached to the back of his spaceship mode. And this comes off, you just pop these panels open. Pull them off the back of the jet. Close this up, we'll deal with this later. Fold the rear fins down here on this part. Pull this up, we'll set that off to the side for later. And these little side fins flip up. And there's JAEGERTRON himself, a really nice looking jet. Sleek, cool, space fighter-esque. I think they're repainting this into Cyclonus at some point. So that kind of makes sense. This should peg in a little better there. There we go. Yeah, there he is. I'm going to start transforming, and we're going to go ahead and pop this gun up off the front here. Right up here where it's kind of a ball. This is actually his gun face mode head. You can see here's where it connects to the neck. The whole gun assembly comes off. It's attached by these little pegs. Probably just for safety and shipping. But those little pegs are quite tiny. I wouldn't want to rip or snap them. But for the most part, you're just going to want to leave that attached. There's no actual face under here. It's just the posts for the gun itself. So that's really the gun head right there. But that form, this is what peg attaches to his neck. This hole right here is what attaches to the post on the front of the spaceship right here. So yeah, not bad. It's like I said, it's a cool looking spaceship. Some of my issues with it are that the wings, the arms fold up. You can kind of see they're folded up under here. And then this top part of the wing is a separate panel. And it doesn't take a whole lot for it to pop loose, both at this tab and at this tab. So a lot of times this will separate sometimes when you're swooshing it around, if you swoosh things around. And he is, I will say, quite swooshable. It's a fun little jet. Again, you don't have to use the head gun here. If you want to leave it open like that, you can. Because then you don't have to worry about what to do with this when you get to robot mode. It's entirely up to you. And to transform, it's fairly simple. We'll go ahead and fold these rear fins down. The guns here come out on these posts on the side. These can also be weapons in robot mode. We'll set those off to the side here. The feet untab from under here and untab from each other. And they clickety around down here. And then you lift the kind of ankle armor up like that. And then the foot comes up on a ball joint here. This circle plate comes off. This whole assembly kind of unhooks from here. Put that up. Unpeg these panels I was talking about from the arm. Lift those up. Come around to the front here. This panel has to flip around and up through here. You fold this up like that. These little pieces can fold up like that. And these can fold up behind him like this. You don't have to, you can leave these folded down, but he does have some little thrusters under there for a jetpack. Although if you do that, it does kind of keep these in the way and limits a little bit of his arm posability. These pieces rotate in. And then the arms, this gray piece right here comes up and kind of rotate it at the shoulder and this gray piece, and it kind of locks in up there. You can see there's a little divot on here that's supposed to hold it in place up here, and it really doesn't. This gray piece, oftentimes when you're messing with the shoulder, the gray piece will want to rotate instead of the shoulder itself. A little annoying. Open that up. Pull this shoulder all the way up and rotate it around. Untab this. Bring it down as an arm. You see here's where that gray piece was coming loose. And rotate his head down around like this. Bring the arm down. Then the two sides of the arm open up, which allows you to flip out his hand. on each side. You can fold this to the side, you can fold it to the inside, you can leave it straight down, entirely up to you on that arm. This is what I was talking about, like, move it at the shoulder, it's okay, but if you move the arm down, just the force of moving the arm sometimes, or especially bending the elbow, wants to pull that gray piece out, which is a little bit of a shame. The hip armor rotates out to the side here, just like that. Bring his other arm down and around, and flip out his hand. And there's JAEGERTRON in robot mode. We'll go ahead and move the camera so you can see all of him. Now, like I said, the backpack itself, you can't, oh, this can actually flip up too. Like that. So it sits like that. There he is in robot mode. Like I said, having the backpack up does kind of hinder this a little bit. You can fold these down, which allows you to fold. You can have these folded straight down. They don't interfere with, I mean, they interfere a little bit with the legs going backwards, but they don't generally block a whole lot of poses. And then that gives you a little bit more room to fold these back and move his arms around, and it cleans up his silhouette a little bit from the front. From the side, it really doesn't. It's either up here or down here, but it doesn't make it any shorter this way. So yeah, up to you. I'm going to put him up just because I'm a rebel like that. A loner Dottie. Anyway, so here he is in his robot mode, and he's quite posable. He's got, it's not a ball joint. His head's kind of on an arched neck. There's a ball joint in this head, and then like an angled neck piece here, which is a little odd. You said the shoulders rotate like this, can go up and down like that. There is a bicep swivel, dual hinged elbows, which again, moving them likes to unhook this gray piece. Does he have a bicep swivel? Pretty sure he does. Yeah, he does have a bicep swivel right here. Wrist swivel. The hands are sculpted into one piece, and we'll show off more with the hands here in a minute. He does have a waist swivel. He's got ratcheting hips, at least side to side. It feels like they ratchet a little bit front to back, but not. They don't click like they do outside to side. Thigh swivel, dual hinge knees. You can see with this middle piece here. And then his ankles are on ball joints, and of course the ankle armor can rotate a little bit with the foot. So all in all, posability-wise, he's actually pretty nice. Now, oh, and you can put this, you can also store this. This circle piece can peg in right here, stores on his back. So he wouldn't be locked down without weapons. And right off the bat, like I said, he's got the two guns we took off his spaceship mode, which you can store, which you can have him hold in his hands. You can, if you wish, leave them attached to the wings if you really, really want. You can do that. But yeah, you can rotate those however you see fit. So he's got these two guns. He does come with two of the what was it? Promenade swords, Hexatron swords in translucent green with some silver paint. These, if you want, there are some slots here on the back that you can store the swords in. And unfortunately, that only allows them to be stored in robot mode. You can't really store the swords in space fighter mode, even in the convoy part. They just don't really fit, which is a bit of a shame. Everything else I found a way to fit in spaceship mode. You know, the head gun attaches as a gun, these form the wings, everything else in the container, but the swords have to sit off to the side. Unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Now, the container itself, you can pull these little struts out here on the outside, and when you open it up, there's two more on the inside, along with all this good stuff. There's an extra head, this is claw, but you can pull these four struts down and stand it up as an armory. Now you get the 5 new heads for the Ferrocons. And you can swap those out onto your Ferrocons if you wish. They actually go in. They don't just tab on. They peg into the case on these little clear translucent things, and then they just slide them up. They've got little notches there to hold them. So that's how they work in there. You put each one. The only one that can come straight off is Rampage's head. Why? He's the only... Just because that's just how he designed his head. His head's a little thicker from front to back. So he just goes on a post right there where the ball joint attaches. Everything else screws onto the old heads and stores in little slots. And then these little clear plastic things come separate. You put the heads in, and then there's little peg holes, or there's little pegs in here and peg holes up here to store these. You go ahead and push them into the trophy case. So he's got a bunch of different heads of trophies he's collected. He's got his hook hand, which we'll show off here in a minute. He's got another alternate head with an actual functional faceplate. That's with his faceplate down, and the faceplate does actually lift up to show his face, although then you have a big giant gap in his head where the hinge for the faceplate is, versus just the clear plastic that fills in the head on this one. It's up to you which one you want to choose. And of course you have the gun head, and we'll show all the heads attached here in just a minute. And before we get all these other side weapons out that go into his arm, there's a little switch on the back. It takes 3 LR41 batteries you'll have to get, but there's a switch right here that when you turn it on, and it's a little harder to see in this bright light, but you can see there's a red light down here. So if he's in jet mode, he's got a red engine coming down here that glows on the back, and then there's a blue light behind the headpiece here. Let me see if let me turn off some of these LEDs and see if we can't. There you go. So there's kind of a cool blue glow in the background there, as well as the red light for the engine of the ship. Just to show that off. And then on each side, there's 4 more hand weapons. Go ahead and turn that light off so we don't waste all the batteries. So you've got like a spiked mace, an axe, some other form of torture device, and another form of torture device, as well as the hook. And then also on the side here, there's 2 more pistols, or rifles, or whatever you want to call them. And they push in through here. You can see that the handle of the pistol goes through the thing. So if you can't having trouble getting them out, try pushing from the other side first. Let me take one of these and push this through. That should let you get it out far enough to get a grip on it. Dang. You can see the stand is, if you just stand it up and leave it alone, you should be okay, but just moving it. Oh, there we go. There's our locking mechanism. There we go. There's a little click lock that holds it, I guess, a little better. But it does tend to like to fall over. I'll go ahead and push this other gun out. There we go. So yeah, there's the case, the heads, and then all the weapons. So again, 2 guns from spaceship mode, 2 guns from the convoy, and I guess they look like they're probably the same size. You could, I guess, attach these to the wings if you wished. And then 5 different attachments for his hands, the gun head, the mask head, and the 2 swords. So, plus the circle piece, which would have been cool if you could attach it as a shield onto his arm. I wonder if maybe it fits on. Does it fit on this? No, it's too big. Otherwise, what's the point of that thing otherwise? Because all it does is sit on his back in robot mode, and underneath it kind of covers his head in spaceship mode. But I'm wondering if there's some other function of that. Anyway. So the heads, like I said, they're on there's a little bit of a wiggle ball joint in there. So it's just an up and down joint. Just attached by this post. So if you want to give him his gun face, you just pop his other head off. You can see the hole there on the neck. Just plug this in. There's gun face lockdown, or JAEGERTRON, I should say. Not a whole lot to that one. It's just he's got a gun face. Or if you'd rather have him have the face mask, You can plug that in just like that. There he is with his mask down, and you can lift it up, and it sits on top of his head, so you can see his face. You can have it lower too, however you want to do it. But it's easy enough to swap the heads out. And with the hands, it's the exact same thing. His hands just pop right out there. They're on a little bit of a hinge there, and that's what allows them to swivel. But you just pull that out. You want to give him a mace attachment. You just take that, plug it right in. Now he's going to bludgeon you to death. You want to give him his standard hook. You take that out. You plug it in. First couple times you do it, it's a little tight, but now he's got his hook hand. Now you do either have to completely remove the hands or leave the normal hands on for jet mode. None of the other weapons obviously will fold up inside there. But yeah, you want to give him an axe. Surprise. Bad boy's got an axe. Dun, 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 dun. So, going with his bounty hunter tool set, he's got lots of different weapons, and again, these are the exact same thing. You just pull them off, plug them in, and you can give him a very nice, fine arsenal of weapons, although you can't really hold the guns with no hands. Between all that, the swords, he's pretty heavily armed. Like I said, there's a few looseness issues. Like I said, my hips are okay. Really, my only real complaint is the way these panels attach to the arms in jet mode, and these gray shoulder pieces that don't want to stay. You can see even here, just by messing with it, they've already come loose a little bit, which is really kind of weird for Mastermind. You don't see a lot of issues like that usually in their stuff, and maybe part of it may just be the fact that like Carnifex showed up the day before he did, and it's kind of hard to compete with that, I guess. But yeah, he's a fun figure. It's a neat design. It's a different take on Lockdown, but he's got the black and green, which I really think is a great color scheme. Looks kind of like the old, the second coloration of Psykill from the old GoBots. He was black and neon green too. But yeah, and you got for what you're paying versus what you get, loaded with accessories. You've got the figure itself, which, like I said, posable, fun. You get lots of options for the weapon parts. You get the extra heads for the Pharaohcons that also look neat in the display case, the trophy case, the LED lights. So it's worth it. You know, like I think you get your money's worth with this guy, considering all the things that they include with it. I do wish the base figure, like I said, if they fix the shoulders and the way those panels attach to the arms in jet mode so they would hang on a little bit more securely, I think he'd be almost perfect. A little bit of a backpack issue, but like I said, for what you're getting, I think the price is decent. He's a fun toy. Like I said, if you can only pick one figure up this year, between him and Carnifex, who showed up this week, I would totally go with Carnifex. But if you're a Lockdown fan or you just like fun toys with lots of options, you know, he's in his gun hat. I forgot about that too. He's got his standard bio card and comic book instruction manual, just like all the others do. But yeah, a pretty cool figure. There he is, reformatted JAEGERTRON. Because I forgot, real quick, here's a quick size comparison of him with Spartan and Carnifex. You can see he's a little bit taller and a little slightly more massive, at least in the upper body, than Spartan. Obviously, his legs are a little skinnier, but just to give you an idea of how he compares with some other figures. Thanks for watching.